Jefferson County Schools celebrates Black history. Students studied the significance of music in Black history. An example was how African American spirituals were used to free slaves through the Underground Railroad. Math and science classes throughout Jefferson County Schools researched the contributions of Black scientists and mathematicians. Some schools read a Black history trivia question during morning announcements and gave the answer during the afternoon announcement. Name the organization whose slogan is, "A mind is a terrible thing to waste." You got it, United Negro College Fund. Students throughout Jefferson County Schools displayed writings, artwork, and performances in recognition of Black History Month. Individual schools shared a snippet of how they recognize Black History Month. Blue Ridge Primary School modeled compassion. Charlestown Middle School studied the Harlem Renaissance. Driswood Elementary School read lots of books. Harpers Ferry Middle School explored Black inventors. Jefferson High School's Andrew Johnson proudly displays his paper on Nelson Mandela. North Jefferson Elementary School studied civil rights. Ranson Elementary School read books by Black authors. Shepherdstown Elementary School explored their very own Shepherdstown Red Sox, a Black baseball team from 1930s to the 1960s. Shepherdstown Middle School's jazz band performed spirituals by African American composers. South Jefferson Elementary School studied the 60s and integration. T.A. Lowry Elementary School studied Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in various ways. Washington High School studied classic literature pieces by Black authors.
Welcome back. Jill, can you tell me what month it is?
It is February.
And what does that mean?
Love is in the air?
Well, yes, but it also means that it's Black History Month.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I wish we could learn more about it.
Well, to help our Black History and Diversity segment, we have a short clip from the History Channel about Black History Month.
African American history dates back to the colonial period, when Africans were brought to the colonies as slaves. Yet Black history was largely ignored by historians and the general public until the 20th century. At the forefront of the push to bring Black history into public consciousness was a scholar and son of former slaves, Dr. Carter G. Woodson. Born in Virginia in 1875, Carter Woodson escaped poverty through education, ultimately receiving a doctorate from Harvard University in 1912. Throughout his studies, Woodson had noticed that the role of African Americans in American history was either misrepresented or missing altogether from the history books. Determined to encourage Black studies and tell the stories of his people, he founded the Association for the Study of Negro Life in 1915. A year later, he began publishing the Journal of Negro History, now known as the Journal of African American History. Page by page, African Americans wrote themselves back into the history books. Encouraged by a swell of support, Woodson organized the first annual Negro History Week in 1926 for the second week of February to coincide with the birthdays of both Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass. The civil rights movement of the 1960s reflected the growing pride and cultural identity among the black community. By the nation's bicentennial in 1976, African Americans were embracing their heritage and reminding America that black was beautiful. 26 years after Carter Woodson's death, Negro History Week became Black History Month as part of the bicentennial celebration. Dr. Carter Woodson left an indelible mark. His work ensured the long and rich histories of African Americans would never be forgotten. Black History Month continues his legacy. We honor the people and their achievements in celebration of the African American experience.
Will you please welcome the Jefferson County Schools Diversity Facilitator, Ms. Arthena Roper.
Welcome to Mascot Roundup.
Thank you for having me.
We would love to have you. Jill said you are the Cultural Diversity Facilitator. Is that right?
That is correct.